Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. Hope you are doing great. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe. I have created bunch of playlists to cover various categories of the problems such as dynamic programming, breadth first search, binary search, depth first search, trees, graphs, tries, arrays, strings and so on. Don't forget them to check out. Also, I have uploaded the code for this particular problem to GitHub. You can get the link from description below this video. Let's jump into today's problem. Palindromic substrings. Given a string, your task is to count how many palindromic substrings in this string. The substring with different start indexes or end indexes are counted as different substrings even they consist of same characters. So that is a catch here. So palindromic means basically the strings, if you read from left to right and right to left, they should be same. For example, right, so palindromic means, so if a b a, if you read from left to right or right to left, it is a b a only. So this is a palindrome, right? So that's what it is. So if there is only single character, like let's say z, right, so this is also palindromic, right? Why? Since it is a single character, you read from left to right or right to left, it doesn't matter. So there are cases like y. So this is also palindromic, right? So those are some of the examples of the palindromic. So for example, xy, no. AB, no. So these are all not palindromics, because if you read xy from left to right, it is xy, but if you read from right to left, it is yx. So those strings are not exactly same. That's the reason why they are not palindromes. Similarly for AB also, right? So that's what it is. So now we are given a string, right? We are given a string and we have to count how many of such strings, right? Such strings are there in that given substring, right? So as long as the start index and end index or end index, not actually and, as long as start index or end index is different, we should count them as different substrings. For example, in case of y, right? So y on its own is a substring, right? And this y is on its own is a substring, and both of them are palindromes, right? So single character is always palindrome. We have to remember that, right? So single character is always palindrome, just like z, that is the example, right? So single character is palindrome. This y is a palindrome, and this y is also palindrome. That's what it is said. So as long as if they have start and index are different, right, or end index are different, we have to count them as different substrings. That's why this y is one substring, this y is one substring, and they are both palindromes. So in this string, there are two palindromes of length 1, we would say, right? And obviously y is also a palindrome. That means there is one palindrome of length 2. So how many palindromes are there in this particular example? There are 3 palindromes totally. So 2 are length 1, 1 is length 2, right? So there are 3 palindromes in this substring. So that is what it meant. So basically, as long as they have different start or end indexes, we have to count them as different substrings, even if they are same characters. That is the example. So how are we going to see and solve this problem, right? So let's take an example and look at it. So the example that I am going to take is string is xabay, right? It is the length of s is 5. That's why I have n is equal to 5 here, okay? So there can be palindromic substrings of length 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? So we are looking for substrings, right? It can be anything of length 1 to 5. That's what I quoted. So obviously we know one character is a palindrome, right? So that means we have 5 from here, right? Because even though a is repeating more than once, as per this description, we have to count more than once also. So that way we will say, okay, 5 are 5 are is the count for length 1 palindromes, right? So there are length 1 palindromes, 5 of them, right? X, A, B, A, Y, like that. And So we need to consider length of 2, length of 3, length of 4, length of 5, right? Obviously. So those are all the substrings for the given string, right? So I have written down, so x, a, b, a, y, x, a, b, b, a, y, these are length 2. These are just the strings I am writing. These are not the palindromes, okay? These are just the possible strings for the given s. I am writing it down. Xa, AB, BA, AY. So these are length 2, and XAB, ABA, BAY. So these are length 3, XABA, ABAY, XABAY. So these are length 4, length 5, right? So these are all the possible strings. So these are only possible strings. We are not saying them as palindromes yet. So now we haven't verified them yet. So now we are considering all the lengths, right? So that is what is considering all the lengths. So we could do it with 2 for loops with keeping track of the starting and end positions, right? So starting position is 1, ending position is 1, starting position is 2, ending position is 2. Those are length 1, right? So starting position is 0, ending position is 1. So that means length 2. Starting position is 0, ending position is 2. That means they are length 3. So like that we will have to consider, like we can do with 2 for loops and keep track of the starting and ending position, so that we will cover all these lengths, right? And now, and for each substring, that means for all these substrings, we need to verify if it is a palindromic substring or not, right? So we will verify this and so on, right? So the total time complexity for that particular algorithm will be order of n cube, right? So there will be 2 outer for loops and 1 for loop to check whether it is a palindromic substring or not. So total complexity for that particular algorithm will be order of n cube. So we could solve in that way, but let's see if we can improve the time complexity by using some other technique. So there comes another technique called dynamic programming, right? So we will try to solve with dynamic programming and see if we can improve anything of that sort, right? So just to give you an idea, right? So if n was 100, right? So if n was 100, so this would take 100 power 3, right? So that will be equal to million, 1 million, right? That will be 1 million, okay? So let's try to see with the dynamic programming, right, how we are going to improve, or if there is an improvement at all, if that is the case, right? So let's go down. So now let's try to improve with the dynamic programming and the length of the string. So n will be still 5. I am still considering this string only, and what we are doing is create a boolean two-dimensional array of n by n, right? So s is still the same thing, n is equal to 5, and we are going to create a n by n array, and we have declared count of palindromes is equal to 0, right? So to start with, and now, so since we know single character is always a palindrome, right? So that is the base case. So that's what we are considering here. Single character is always a palindrome, right? It's always a palindrome. And as per the definition given here, since the start or end indexes are different, we need to count them as different strings. So then we will simply say, okay, all single characters are palindromes. So first let's take care of the single characters. So that means it is starting and ending at the same character, right? So for that reason, in this array A, we will set all A of I to true. So that means A00, A11, A22, A33, A44, right? The length n is equal to 5 means the indexes are 0 to 4. So we will set 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. All those indexes to all those cells to true, because all of them are single character. So when I say I, right, it is starting at I and ending at I. So that's what it is. So 0, it's starting with 0 and ending with 0. That means it is single character. It is starting with 1 and ending with 1. It's a 1 character, right? So those are all single characters, and we are saying all of them are palindromes anyway. So now we will update this, all the 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. So if we count them while updating, right, the count of palindromes will come to 5, right, because that is the length of the string anyway. So now the next case is obviously the 2 characters. So even though we are following the dynamic programming way, right, the palindromic substrings of length 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we still need to consider all of them anyway. Okay, so now we have completed the base case with single character, and next move on to the second case. What is that? Length 2. So we already taken care 1, so now these are remaining 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's take care of 2 now. So next easy case will be 2. So what is the 2? So 2 should be the characters next to each other, right? So 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, right? So these are the possible strings. That's what we gave here, right? XA, AB, BA, AY, right? So these are the possible substrings of length 2. So now what we are going to see is, as long as the characters at those positions are same, the 0th and 1st character are the same, 1st and 2nd character are the same, 2nd, 3rd, 4th are the same. So in the given string XA, BA, Y, right, they are not XA, AB, BA, AY, so they are not same. So length of the 2, we don't have any palindromes, right? So that's why we don't convert any of these falses to true, right? So we leave them as it is. So our count of palindromes is still 5. That is what we have calculated so far. Now we took care of the length 2 also. Let's go forward and see 3, 4, 5, right? So next up, length 3. So that means if the start is 0, right, end is 2, right? If start is 0, end is 2, right? Because that is what is length 3. So if start is 1, end is 3, start is 2, end is 4. So these are the starting and end indexes basically, right? So now we have these 3 combinations for length 3. What we have to do is, we have to make sure 2 conditions satisfy. What is that? First condition is, whatever the character at start location and end location, they should be same. That is first condition. And the second condition is, the string or the substring in between start and end should be also palindrome. What is that in between means? In between string, what it will be? If you have start is something and end is something, right? Start plus 1 and end minus 1 is in between start and end, right? So if you have start something and end something, right, the ends of the 2 strings. So if you want to see the string in between start and end is also palindrome or not, that means start plus 1 and end minus 1. So that is what we need to check, whether that is a palindrome or not. So how we are going to check is the question, right? So how are we going to check? We will refer back to this array. So check if start plus 1 and end minus 1 cell is true, right? If it is true, then it is a palindrome. If it is not, it is not a palindrome. So that is the condition. And the other condition is, start character and end character should match irrespective of what their indexes are, right? So length is equal to 3 for this. So we will use the same logic for length 4 and length 5. So 2 conditions need to be satisfied. The start and end character should match for whatever the length that you are given with, and the start plus 1 and end minus 1, that string should be a palindrome. If those 2 conditions match, we will say, okay, the current length is also palindrome. So likewise, we will update the array. So now, as per the length 3, right, 0 to 2. So 0 to 2, what is that? So let me get back and paste it here, just so that we will follow that, right? 1 second. Okay, we will have here, okay, x is equal to 0, y is equal to, sorry, start is equal to 0, end is equal to 2, right? So it is up to this, the selection XAB. So XAB, even if you look, this is not a palindrome, so we don't have to actually check, right? So start character and end character XB, they are not same, so you don't need to go for any other thing. So next up is 1 and 3. So 1 and 3, yes, in this particular case, A and A matched, right? And next, see, start plus 1 and end minus 1. What is start plus 1? 1 plus 1 is 2, end minus 1 is 2. So that means check at 2, 2 is true or not, right? What is 2, 2? 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, right? So this is true. So we have both conditions met. That means what we are going to do is array of 1 3, right, 1 3 we are going to make true. So that's what I have updated here. Array of 1 3 is made to true. So finally we will have to apply the same logic for length 4 and length 5 also, but in this particular case there are no palindromes for length 4 and length 5. So even though they are not there, you will have to go through and do it. Finally, whatever the content that you have, so when we updated SA of 1 3 to T, we will update the count of palindromes. It was 5 and we add 1 because start is equal to 1 and equal to 3, that is a palindrome, right? So we increment the palindrome, count of palindromes, so 6. So whatever you get at the end of the processing all the lengths, count of palindromes, just return finally. So this is what the algorithm that we are going to look at the code for, right? So this is solved by using dynamic programming. It exactly follows, the code exactly follows the thing and the concept that we discussed so far, right? So let's go jump into the code. So we are given with a string s, and these are the first things. Basically check if the string is null or empty. If so, just return 0 and just get the length of the s, and if it is equal to 1, don't even process further, just return as 1. If string length is 1, we just have one palindrome string, right? That's it. And after that, so we are worried about now strings of length only greater than 1, right? So 2 3 and so on, right? So now for that purpose what we are doing is, just like in the concept we initialize the boolean array, right? So we are initializing the boolean array and initialize the count of palindromes to 0 and go through and initialize the array, right, boolean of a. So while initializing a of I is equal to true, this is means length 1 palindromes, right, length 1 palindromes. So that's what we are going to have, right? So now while we do that, we just increment the count of palindromes which are length 1, right? So that's what we incremented. So now with this we have initialized the array and also counted the number of palindromes of length 1. So instead of you calculating the count of length palindromes 1, you can directly assign n here, it doesn't matter. So it's almost same, right? And then go further, right? Go further and say what next? Length 2, right? Length is 2 next. So as we said, the two characters next to each other should be same. If it is the case, then we will say they are palindromes, otherwise they are not, right? So now let's go and check if the characters next to each other are same. If so, we set in the array to true and increment the count of palindromes. So that is for the length 2. So now if the string length is more than 2, right, then we will have to consider all the length 3 and until length is equal to n, right? So this for loop will take care all the lengths greater than or equal to 3. So we will start with length is equal to 3 and length is less than or equal to n, length plus plus, and we will have a start point and end point calculated on the fly for each length. So for each length, start will be, we'll start with 0 to n. So 0 start will be flowing from 0 to n, and end we have to correspondingly calculate start plus length minus 1, right? So for every start we need to get that much string length, right? So we get the end, and if at all end is greater than or equal to n, right? So that means end is far more than the end position. So that's why we just break, right? So we don't care about this. And so now here these are the two conditions that we are checking. What is that? This condition is the start and end character should be same. That is must, right? Because we have to make sure that is met because we are looking for palindromes, right? Start and end should be must. So this one is, instead we are referring back to the, what is that, our array where we stored start plus 1 and end minus 1. That is the string in between the start and end. If that is a palindrome, which we check whether it is true. If it is true, what we are going to say is a start end is a palindrome and count increment. So that's how we are incrementing the palindrome, count of palindromes when these two conditions are met. So finally return the count of palindromes, right? So this is how the code is going to look. So let's go ahead and look at the time complexity. In the case of order of n cube, right, it was 1 million operations totally. So let's see with this how much we are able to decrease the time, right? So let's go. So time complexity. Good. Okay, let's come down, and this is, we are going through the for loop n times of length n, right? So this will be order of n, and this is order of n. So order of n plus order of n, right? So this total still order of n still. So now this one we have starting from length 3 to n. So outer for loop is n minus 3, right? Sorry, n minus 2 basically, and this inner for loop is n. So n minus 2, if you just take out the 2, right? So n into n square, right? So these two for loops make up n square. So totally order of n square plus order of n plus order of n. So for large numbers, right? So order of n square is much bigger than order of n. So we ignore order of n for the time complexity case. So for that purpose, we will say the total time complexity for this particular algorithm is order of n square. So just trying to compare. So if n is equal to 100, right? So 100 power 2, right? So what does that means? This is 10,000, right? So basically that is just 10,000. So compare that with a million, right? So compare that with a million. So it is 100 times lesser. So this particular algorithm with dynamic programming is 100 times faster than our algorithm which we discussed to start with. And let's look at the space complexity, right? Space complexity for this algorithm. So what space we are using? So we are using this integer n and a Boolean array of n by n, and what else? Yeah, so we are using count of palindromes and n, and as well as array of n by n. So since n and count of palindromes are just variables, we can probably ignore them, and the main space consumption is for this Boolean array, which is order of n by n, so which is order of n square. So this algorithm is order of n square space and order of n square time, right? So this algorithm is order of n square space and order of n square time. So if you still have any questions, please post them in the comment section below this video. I have posted this code to the GitHub repository, and I am posting in 2 languages. One is C# and also in Java. So you will be able to find the links for both code locations in the description section below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe, and also share among your friends. Please click the bell icon so that you will be notified about all my future videos. Thank you for watching. I will be back with another problem soon. Till then, stay safe. Goodbye.